14 years, and boy, a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Especially the building, the new facility that they got here is just one of the nicest arenas I've ever seen.
Now, last time you were here, I believe, so it would have been 1997, and at that time you had guys that were champions such as Sid, yourself, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. A lot of things have changed inside the business in terms of just the names and all. I mean, did you imagine yourself working in wrestling still in a capacity, whether it be promotional or such, down the line?
Yeah, I don't. I think I always thought I'd have some kind of a role to play doing something in wrestling, because it was pretty much my whole life from the time I was about 5 years old. I mean, I think I was almost like geared right off the bat to become a wrestler, and I had a passion for it as a young kid, and I was a huge fan, and all that correlated into to the same thing for. Now I think there's a lot of young wrestlers out there today that are. I think if you check with most of the wrestlers that are stars today, like Cena and Randy Orton and some of these guys, you'll find that they didn't watch Hulk Hogan necessarily when they were growing up. They watched Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect. They watched the technical or sort of more fast-moving kind of wrestlers. And I find that a lot of the young wrestlers today, they have emulated. The way what we started, that sort of fast-paced wrestling. But today's wrestlers are probably better conditioned athletes than what we had 10, 15 years ago. And, I think we had a harder schedule a few years ago, but the rings are easier to work in today's rings physically. But the wrestlers today are coming up with so much creative, sort of ingenious kind of moves, stuff that I never imagined doing, and I'm kind of glad that I've come and gone. I wouldn't want to take a lot of the moves that they do today are pretty intense looking moves, and I got a lot of respect for the wrestlers of today.
Something you said that about how on your rise, how it did take you a while until you got into that big time spot, and that probably did help your fan base really get behind you. Something we're seeing now, and I know that you were at the San Diego Comic-Con last night, is maybe a little bit of parallel with CM Punk. What can you say about this whole situation?
With Punk?
Yes.
Well, it's eerily reminiscent of some of my own, especially his rant a few weeks ago on TV it reminded me of similar rants I made back a few years ago. But I don't know where that's all going to go. The fan in me is kind of just as excited. Waiting to see where it's all going to go. I thought the pay-per-view last week was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a really long time. And, not just the main event either. The whole card was really good. And I like that about the wrestlers today are so, they're trying so hard to sort of take things even higher than wrestlers of the past did. And I for the first time watching every single match go out there and give 100%. It was a nice to me that when it was over I thought that was a great pay-per-view. And then you hear all the raves about it the next day on Twitter and things, and how many people love the pay-per-view. And the Monday Night Raw was an excellent show. But it's always interesting to me, because I was a fan first. I'll always be a fan first, and I think probably what made me as good a wrestler as I was is that I really was a fan. And the thing I love about the wrestling with these guys is that they try so hard all the time, and they're always in their mind thinking there were the great days of wrestling were back at WrestleMania and Pontiac and stuff like that. But the truth is that the torchbearers of today are Randy Orton is as good a technical wrestler I think as they come. He's really good. John Cena's got a work ethic that reminds me a lot of what I used to have to deal with in carrying the title. There's a lot of responsibility with promotional things like interviews and radio calls in the morning and things like that, and Make-A-Wish kids. And there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize how hard someone like John Cena works 24 hours a day, always carrying the torch for the company. And I look at him and I'm very proud of some of the young wrestlers today. They're really doing a good job of carrying the torch for their profession.